What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us here at Offside and Bounds, where we're going to be continuing to provide information and recaps and previews about the men's NCAA 2022 basketball March Madness tournament. We are going to get into the previews for Friday, March 25th, which is the second day of the Sweet 16. So let's get started. I'm Adam.
I'm Junior.
Let's go. All right, Junior, what's going on? Real quick here before we got Arkansas up 2 on Gonzaga and Michigan hanging tight with Villanova. The first two games, which are the Thursday kickoff of the first part of the Sweet 16. Junior, basketball is back. We're happy. It seemed like a bit of a withdrawal there for a couple days.
For sure. I mean, I found myself betting on soccer and ping pong. It was pretty pathetic.
If you want us to cover ping pong, comment below. We've been toying with the idea of covering some sports that are on Ocho 8 ESPN.
Yeah, the Ocho. All about the Ocho.
Exactly.
Mind you, the ping pong league in Moldova right now is absolutely on fire.
Listen, there's some incredible players. I've seen some wicked sets in the last few videos that I've watched. Let's take a look at our clip because we're clipping out really good on this tournament. If you've been betting with us, you've been making money. We're going to take a look at that. Let's pop it up right now. Okay, here it is. So the first four, we were the system, was 3 for 4. Round of 64, 27 for 32. Round of 32, 11 for 14. Some of these teams, the system is not going to pick up these kind of upsets. However, look at the overall 41 for 50 and the ATS 47 for 50, which is what, 96%?
Yeah, a little over 94%.
Oh, sorry, 94%. There you go. I mean, this is unbelievable. Check out our video. You can still get in on the Duke and Duke matchup, and then the Arizona matchup as well with Houston there on our picks. If you check out our other video, so check that out. Okay, Junior, we're talking Cinderella, baby. Only 3 times in history did it happen. Colgate-Roberts was the last time it happened, which was last year, and St. Pete's is back in it with a trip to the Sweet 16, facing off against the Purdue Boilermakers, a 15-3 matchup. Initial thoughts. This goes live 7:09 on Friday tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have had kind of Purdue backed out of this game big time. They're all over this St. Pete's money. I mean, I think they're at a plus 650 on the money line in this game. I mean, it's no accident that they're here. They've played really well, and they've actually held their opponents to, I think, about 34, 35% shooting. So they're playing a lot of team defense, responsible basketball, and you can't say anything bad about a team that's playing together, right? When you look on the Purdue side, it's been 40 plus years since Purdue's been back in the Final Four. So, I mean, you're looking at a manageable game for them and the talent that they've had in the year they've had. This should be a manageable game in St. Pete's for them. But I mean, talk to the other teams that have been upset, Iowa, Kentucky. Those are all manageable games for them too. So I don't think the coaching staff's going to have these guys playing light or taking their opponent light. I think they're going to come out as if this is a Duke or another power conference team. So I expect Purdue to come out swinging just as much as St. Pete's is.
Yeah. So the spread on this is minus 12.5 for Purdue, which I'll be honest, I really like St. Pete's, and I think they're going to be able to come within that spread even if they lose this game. Over-unders 134 on this matchup. Couple of notes I made here. So pros to St. Pete's. They got nothing to lose. They weren't supposed to be here. Again, we talked about the third 15 seed to go to the Sweet 16. No 15 has ever gotten to the Elite 8. Can St. Pete's be this team? They're playing 90 minutes from their campus.
Yeah.
So are they going to have this home, kind of vibe when they're playing this matchup tomorrow night? And then kind of the cons really is, in all realism, their offense isn't great. They're outside 200 in efficiency on the KenPom on the offensive side of things. Just looking over the stats, just that you got on the screen here. I mean, field goal percentage has been good. I saw a lot of production on a 3-point last game. What was it, Dickinson or one of these guys that we'll take a look at in a minute. Rebounds are up there. I mean, anything that's really standing out to you here? Maybe try to get the turnovers down a little bit, but that's probably unlikely for a 15th seed. I mean, even with St. Pete's.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the fouls that they're giving out, up to 20, you really got to be careful about that, because when you're putting teams in the bonus too early, when they're shooting two all the way, if there's 6 minutes left in the half, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes left in the half, and they're on the bonus, that can come back to haunt you. And especially for a team that's shooting under 70%, one of the few teams that's shooting under 70% that's made it this far, they got to clean that up big time. Outside of the sharing of the ball, they take a lot of chances with the steals too. So they like to go after the ball. They like to get their hands active in the passing lanes. But again, they have to be careful about breakouts. They got to be careful about overcommitting on balls. But
get burned on the other end.
That's the thing. I mean, this is a Purdue team that's been playing really well lately, so you can't take too many chances against teams like that, because they will just burn you all day long.
Oh yeah. These guys are professionals. They're ready to play, right? In St. Pete's, that they're that Cinderella. But look, I'm excited. I mean, these teams match up pretty good overall here. I mean, it's not super lopsided. I would say it's the steals, for St. Pete's, a little bit on the free throw, and then you also got the assists on Purdue's favor. But I mean, Purdue is a well-oiled machine. They know how to win basketball games.
Certainly.
Okay, let's take a look at the player stats on Purdue here, and tell me what you think if you want to have any notables here.
You can see that they've got a balanced offense. There's a lot of guys getting minutes. There's no one kind of sitting with 0 minutes on the table. Some of them are making some contributions with the limited time that they're seeing. But when you're looking at a guy like Edey, who's averaging almost 8 boards a game, 3 on the offensive side, 4 on the defensive side, almost 2 blocks. I mean, I look at him being one of those stalwarts down the center to kind of protect the rim and make certain that, those rebounds are getting gobbled up. And then when you look on the engine side, you've got Ivy, who's kind of running that offense. And he's doing a pretty decent job with that. And then you kind of got Stefanovic as well in there. They've got 2 guys that can really run that offense. And I think that, that might – I mean, you can toss Williams in there, who's getting almost 4 assists a game too. So they've got guys that distribute the ball.
7 boards too.
Yeah. They eyes are up and all over the place, and they're just it's a 3-headed monster, 4-headed monster when you get Edey in there. So there's guys that can play here, and when you've got one guy not going off, there's another 3 guys behind him that are going off.
Yeah.
So St. Pete's has definitely got to be worried about that.
Yeah, let's still take a look at St. Pete's here. And Defo had a huge game.
Yeah.
Again, maybe there was a couple fouls down the stretch that weren't called on him, but
I mean, when you look at them, they're a smaller team, and you figure that there was one guy that's just been going off and carrying them the entire way. But it's not the case. I mean, this is a full team effort. This is a very responsible team. Everyone's got each other's backs. They're playing with house money right now. But this is a big fish. This is a real big fish for them to fry. This isn't a Murray State. This is a power conference team that plays tough opponents. Strength of schedule, the quality of people and opponents they've been playing is a lot higher than what St. Pete's has.
So it's Doug Eddard was the guy I was thinking of. He was on fire last game. He was just coming up, pulling up threes. He was just unbelievable. I really like that kid.
He's a high energy guy. So he kind of brings them up to that next step, that next level that they need. But again, I mean, this is going to have to be one insane game to see St. Pete's come within a sniff of Purdue.
They have the momentum. I'm hoping.
Yeah. 12.5 points is a lot to lay on the line.
Huge.
So, I mean, I'm more inclined. We'll get into what the system thinks, and I'm sure that the system's going to back Purdue here, but that's a double-digit Sweet 16. I mean, these teams have both played well and beaten people along the line. So, and it's not like St. Pete's hasn't been beating anybody. I mean, they beat some pretty big teams. So.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to do the system here? What does the system have this game up at?
The system. Let me pull this up. The system.
I'll just
ran
remind everybody
this.
here, we got minus 12.5 for St. Peter's. Or sorry, for Purdue. My apologies. And over-unders at 134.
So they've got this game playing on the low end a 77 to 67, and then on the higher end 83-75. So a 144 or 159 on the over. Either way, both of those tracks both have this with St. Pete's covering that 12.5 points.
And the over.
And the over, yeah.
And the over. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think it'll be closer than 12 points. Okay, let's move on here to game 2, Friday night, March 25th, 7:29. This goes number 4 Providence Friars versus the number 1 Kansas Jayhawks. This is in Chicago at the United Center.
This is a game. This is a game.
It's a solid matchup here.
Yeah, and I mean when people are looking at Providence, I mean, you know, they usually will have a 20-win season backed by a pretty early exit from the tournament.
Yep.
But you know, you got to respect this team. You got to respect that name. At the end of the day, it's been all backed by a really strong defense. They've been holding their opponents to about 55, 54 points during the tournament, and only allowing their opponents to shoot a bit under 20% from three. So that's showing you that they're playing a really strong perimeter defense, and that's kind of what they're relying on.
Yep.
But when you look at Kansas on the other side, they're in a bit of a different kind of league right now. They're one of the darlings of the country. You know, John Q. Public's betting favorite here, just like Arizona. And, you know, they've kind of had a bit of an easy step up to this point. So I think this might be Kansas's first, I'd say, legitimate challenge. Considering there's not a whole lot of blue bloods left, you know, outside of Duke and North Carolina. Kentucky's gone. But, you know, they've got a Bahi who's not been shooting that really well for the tournament, and he's kind of that guy that they rely on. So, I mean, if he can catch on again, this could be another route at the end of the day.
These guys match up really good here. I mean, if you look at these lines and these numbers, I mean, it's a little bit more on Kansas for the rebounds, but these guys look really good on paper. I think this is going to be an incredibly competitive game. As both these teams are really hungry to push through the next round. Let's take a look at this team stats here. If there's anybody you want to highlight here on Kansas.
Well, I did with Abayi. So,
yeah,
you know, he obviously is not shooting where he should be, just under 50% from the floor. But still grabbing some boards, assists. He's clicking in across the entire score sheet. So where he's not getting it in terms of the point totals, he's still bringing in the rest of his game, which is what you want to see out of the guy you kind of rely on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, outside of that, when you got a couple of guys shooting over 40% for three, it's always good to know that there's going to be a wing guy out there, whether it's in the corner or top of the key. There's someone there who's been hitting them with some regularity. I mean, if you want to, you know, compare apples to apples, I mean, outside of that, you've got Braun too. So guard play again from Kansas is probably going to be the strength that they've got here. So the good thing for Providence in this matchup is that they play a very strong perimeter defense. So that's going to help probably limit the opportunities that Kansas is going to have from beyond the arc and kind of in that mid-range game too.
Yeah, so let's take a look at Providence here. You know, I'm just trying to pick out some guys here. You know, Horchler with 8+ rebounds. That's going to be huge. Minaya. What do you think Providence is going to have to do here to overcome Kansas? Because we know that their guard play is going to be strong. They're going to be pushing the ball. What are they going to have to do on the defensive end and offensive end to make this happen?
When you look at Bynum and Durham and Breed, I mean, these are the guys that are up top for you, that kind of guard rotation. And, you know, these guys, they get on the boards, they distribute the ball. They've got, you know, averaging almost a steal a game, each of them are, and even getting into the blocks too. So that just shows you that perimeter defense. When you've got a a guard with almost half a block a game, then he's doing something. This is going to be where the game's going to be won or lost, and it's going to be through the guard play. So I think you need a good game from Bynum. You don't need a great game from Bynum or Durham. You need or even Fonts. I mean, they've got 4 really strong guards on their side. Fonts not playing that much, but you've got 3-4 guards in a rotation, and it's going to be their 3-4 guards against the 2-3 guards of Kansas, and whoever is going to give up the ground is going to end up losing the game.
Okay. And what do we got on this system pick? I'm just going to give you the numbers here. So in the Providence, Kansas game, this is minus 7.5 for Kansas. The over-under on this game currently at 141.5.
So the high-low tracks, on the low end, we're looking at a 73-66 win for Kansas. And on the high track, it's a 78-73 win, a 139 and a 151. I do believe those are both overs.
Okay. And the spread cover?
What was the spread again?
7.5. Is that a cover? Sorry, I missed the final there.
Yeah, it's like yes on the low track, no on the high track. So The lower scoring the game gets, it kind of favors Kansas. The higher the scoring gets, it favors Providence to cover that 7.
Okay, awesome. This is the game that I'm most excited about. 9:39 UNC Tar Heels versus the UCLA Bruins. 8 versus a 4 seed. Carolina playing like crazy right now. Quick notes on Carolina. No, I don't have anything on that right now.
You know what's crazy? That this team averages a Final Four appearance every 3 years.
That's a testament to the program, right?
That's what Coach Smith built, and that's going back a hell of a long way.
Yep.
But when you look at that game against Baylor, that halftime lead they had, the fact that they did trail Marquette by a little bit, they're doing something right. They're in games that they're not supposed to be in.
They're not giving up.
No. Obviously that Marquette game. I mean, I think everyone and their grandmother had them. But in that Baylor game, I don't think anybody had them getting past Baylor. I mean, they're the defending champs. Tough first salvo, in the tournament, and they came on top. And the last game when you've got guys fouling out before halftime and still putting up 25 and 7. It just goes to show you that there's a lot of heart, there's a lot of will on this team, and come this time of year, you can't back away from that. And then
they're better in almost every category.
Yeah, I don't want to get into too much on UCLA. You know how much I hate that program this year. Just the inconsistencies across the entire board. I don't understand them.
And look at that. Last year, they were the team that were first 4 and went all the way to the Final Four, right?
Yeah, they did. I mean, their shooting percentages are decent. It's just they play down to their opponents, and I want to see them run someone out of the gym because of the talent they have on this team, and I don't see it happening, and I don't see it happening here either, to be quite honest.
I mean, I'm riding UNC hot and heavy for sure.
Yeah, but as we saw last year, it was Johnny Juzang that carried that team. So I mean, if he comes alive and just catches fire, I think he's been a little bit quiet this tournament, and some other guys have had to kind of jump in to carry a bit more of the burden. Like Campbell has been playing pretty decent, and then you got Johnson, their center as well, who's been playing pretty well. I mean, outside of that, there isn't anyone that jumps off the score sheet and says, "Okay, yeah, that's it. That's why UCLA has been winning these games." They're just grinding. They're just grinding games out.
Grinding wins out. Yeah. On the other side, Baycott's. Granted, he probably should have been fouled out last game.
Yeah, like 2 minutes into the second half.
Yeah. But 12 and a half rebounds a game. He is hungry.
Yeah, and when you look at the game that Davis had, absolutely just went off.
Oh yeah.
But I think for me, that team it's built around Manek.
Mm-hmm. That was a huge
engine. That he's that guy that hits that tough 3 when you're trying to kill a run.
If he was in that game, it wouldn't have even been close.
No, and that's the thing.
It would have been over, but they would have won by 15 or 20.
Yeah, but he's that guy that grabs that rebound to stop a run. He's the guy that slashes in, drops the bucket, gets the and one to keep a run going. He's just that kind of player. So, I mean, for me, my keys to this game for UNC is Manic's got to stay out of foul trouble, and they just got to feed this kid the ball and let him go off.
Yeah, was that a flagrant one?
No, it was a flagrant 2. So
was it a flagrant 2? So he'll be able to still play this game, though. There's no issues in this tournament, right?
Yeah, I think so. That might be
better. He has to be available. Yeah, no, he's got to be available. There's no way that would have been front page. I never seen that anywhere. But I'm just, I know in NBA playoffs you get a couple of flagrant 2s and you're done, or a couple of flagrants even. But yeah, he was automatic. He just played. His play was unbelievable. I mean, this kid's shooting almost 40% from 3 and 50% from the field. I mean, and still pulling down 5.5 or just shy of 6 rebounds.
Yeah, he will be playing.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. What's the system telling us? Because I'm riding North Carolina. I don't care.
This system, I don't know why, but it absolutely loves UCLA.
And it's UCLA by 2 on the point spread right now. Over under at 141.5. What's the high low on that?
Low here, low track 81.70 UCLA.
That's going over.
High track 90.78 UCLA. I'm
betting the over and I'm betting UNC.
Yeah.
I don't think this is no 2-point game. I put the advantage in UNC's UNC side.
I'm there with you. UCLA's inconsistencies so far this tournament. Granted, they haven't had power programs that they're just pounding into the ground. I think UNC has a lot of fight. They're tough. They're physical. They're quick. Momentum. They can hit their shots. There's 3 or 4 guys that can just absolutely go off.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna put the farm on UNC to win that game. I think they're a plus 180. Or to play it safe, I might just bet the farm on them covering that spread, knowing that I want them to win that game.
I got a plus 115 showing right now.
Okay.
But, I mean, that could change. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the last game of the night, 9:59, Iowa State Cyclones versus the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. This is an 11-10 matchup in the Sweet 16, so very interesting. I got a couple of notes here. So top 5 defense in America at Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
They only had 2 wins last year and 22 this year so far. So that's very interesting from this team. Number 5 in defensive efficiency on the Ken Palm. And that's really all I got from there. They got the takeover guard in Tyrese Hunter.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one reason why Iowa State is where they are, and that is their perimeter defense. They hold teams to a laughable 3-point percentage because they take care of that area. They know that that's the key for teams to get back into the game. They know that they're not going to run people out of the gym by 15, 20, 40 points, not this time of year. They have that kind of program that UCLA is showing right now. They grind you down. They keep the game low scoring, and they're always within distance of, if they're down, they're in distance of catching up with a little run.
So I got something for you here on this. So they caused Wisconsin to turn the ball over season high 17 times.
There you go.
And they held Wisconsin to their lowest field goal percentage of the season. I mean, that tells you how strong their defensive is.
Yeah, and what's Miami built on? What has Miami done so well to get them here?
25 wins. They're older and experienced.
Yeah,
that's all I got for that.
They're shooting the 3 well. They've been relying on the 3 a lot, and that's going to be an issue when you're going up against a perimeter defense where guys are going to get in your face when you're going up. You think you're going to have a clear jump shot. Next thing you know, there's 2 fingers in your eyes. Like
exactly, quite literally, yes.
Yeah. So
and that's going to stop the penetration of the ball going inbound when you're getting up in those guys' faces. It's putting the pressure on them to make a bad decision,
which causes those turnovers, right?
Look at the turnovers, 13.8 turnovers compared to 9.8, right? It's a huge difference.
Yeah, but you have to also look at it. Miami is a team that takes care of the ball. Last game, I think they turned the ball over 4 times, which is, I mean, pretty ridiculous
It's amazing.
for an NCAA team, right? To
Absolutely.
turn the ball over 4 times in a game, and they weren't playing, a garbage team. They're playing Auburn, which is a team, again, that's built with a pretty strong defense.
Absolutely.
And then, they've been turning their opponents over 39-6 in terms of, so, I mean, honestly, I couldn't give you an answer to how they're doing that. But, I mean, you're causing 39 turnovers and you're turning the ball over 6 times.
Yeah.
It's just pretty ridiculous. So this, I mean, if I click to the system here, which we'll get to in a second, I can definitely see a low-scoring affair being spit out there. Or I could be wrong, and it could be like 75-73.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, do you want to touch on that? Do you want to see what the system tells us? What do we got on this game? A couple of notable players here. Brockington shooting 45 from the field goal range, 36 3-point, 6.8 rebounds.
So there's a slight advantage from floor percentage and 3-point percentage for Iowa State, as well as from.
So it's -2.5 Miami, Florida for the win, and the over/under 133.
So we've got on the low tail 74-70.
Okay, so covering.
And on the high 78-76.
Okay, so this game's going over. But you're thinking maybe it might be low scoring personally.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to put a personal tag on this, just looking at kind of their path here, Iowa State they're all defense. So Is their offense going to wake up? Are they going to be able to keep pace with the team that's got a lot of pace to their play? Are they going to be able to turn Miami over? And is Miami going to be able to break through that perimeter defense and maybe change the game plan up and dump it down low and let their bigger forwards kind of muscle in the paint and get the baskets the old-fashioned way?
Yeah, they are an experienced team. A lot of these guys are 23, 24 on this team. So
yeah.
Hopefully that experience can work well for them. Okay, cool. Awesome. So we got that squared away, guys. We want to thank you guys for joining us. Of course, we will continue to recap games as they finish. Check back tomorrow. We'll recap all the games from Thursday today and give you our analysis on those games. And then we'll be back on Saturday to recap the Friday's games. We'll chat a little bit about those. And then later the week, we'll preview the upcoming Elite 8 games, which we're extremely excited about. And we may look at streaming one of these games live. So please subscribe, comment, hit those notifications. Every video we shoot is live. We certainly do appreciate a like click there as well. Junior, any final thoughts on this?
Before we go, let's hit those parlays.
We have parlays, yes. Oh, lovely. All right, let's take a look at parlay number 1. The system made me do it. Okay.
St. Pete's plus 12.5 and the over. UCLA -2.5 and the over. Kansas -7.5 and the under. And Miami -2.5 and the over. $10 gets you $24.32.53. Check change.
Okay, cha-ching. Parlay number 2.
Straight money. Purdue -1,000, Kansas -340, UCLA -135, Miami -145. A bigger bet of $50 on that line gives you 209. So a 4-1 odds, still not that bad.
All right, and parlay number 3, Junior's reach. Okay, let's see this one.
St. Pete's over, Kansas under, UNC over, Iowa State under. $10. A saw buck. 62-36-80.
Wow. Okay, there you have it. There you have it, guys. So check those out. Lock them in. I mean, I'm definitely going to pop those parlays in for sure. It's a no-brainer. We'll be back again Friday and Saturday to recap the Sweet 16. So please join us. Hit that subscribe, like, comment button below. I want to thank you here for joining us at Offside and Abounds. I'm Adam.
I'm Junior. And we're going to see you real soon.